Live from KSAT 12, Good Morning San Antonio starts right now.
New overnight, a lot of changes coming to Judson ISD thanks to budget cuts. We're going to tell you what the school board decided to cut while you were likely sleeping.
With the second pick in the 2025 NBA Draft, the San Antonio Spurs select.
I can't explain how much joy that we picked the number 2 and how much lucky we are, and it's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's been a crappy 4 or 5 years, but we're finally back. Spurs, we're finally back, and I can't wait. I can't wait till next season. Go Spurs, go!
Draft pick right there.
Yeah.
For all intents and purposes. An exciting night at the Rock and an exciting night for basketball. And also you see some excited Spurs fans there. We're going to let you know what you may have missed from the NBA draft and introduce you to brand new Spur Dylan Harper.
People are planning victory parades already for next June.
Yes, I love the headgear already.
Yeah, I love it. Welcome in Ernie and RJ with you here as Japhani's enjoying She's on assignment.
A little bit of time off. Yes, yeah. That would be a good way to say it.
Very important assignment, exactly.
Absolutely.
So, at any rate, she'll be back in a few days. But nonetheless, we welcome you in here as we get underway. We're going to get over to Justin right now and find out what's happening. See if we're going to play the rain lottery again today.
Pretty much. By the way, am I missing something, or was the guy wearing it? Was that a castle?
I think he was wearing
a castle. For Steph Castle.
Steph Castle.
Got it. That makes sense. Okay.
Good observation.
Yes, 20% chance of rain today, guys. Here's some of the headlines. Less coverage, though, through the weekend. Know that we're not going to see as much on the radar as we've seen the last couple of days as things kind of dry out a little bit. The other big story here is the Saharan dust. That's going to make an appearance starting this weekend and going into next week. You'll notice it. There'll be a haze in the atmosphere. It could affect some folks with allergies. And we're going to look ahead to the 4th of July. It looks like some triple digits may return to the forecast. Hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is July. Not something out of the ordinary, I suppose, for us here in San Antonio. Our forecast today, 86 noon time. 2 o'clock, 90 degrees. 4 o'clock, 93. We could see some of those pop-up downpours, but today's rain chance is down to 20%. And, of course, heat index values will be up near 100. That Saharan dust makes its first appearance Sunday and then kind of picks up as we get into next week, with it likely peaking somewhere in that Tuesday to Wednesday range. What does it mean to you? We're going to look at that. Plus, look ahead again to some of those hotter temperatures next week coming up. But let's check in on your traffic. No, we're not, actually. Let's go over to Ernie to talk about the Spurs.
Yes, sir. We'll get to traffic momentarily, but the pick is in. And as expected, Rutgers guard Dylan Harper is now a proud member of the San Antonio Spurs, so the mural can stay up.
Absolutely, yes. We know the mural's already up at Rudy's Seafood, and the Spurs also drafted the 14th pick. Carter Bryant's a bit of a mystery man. So, again, 2 brand new Spurs here in San Antonio.
All right, so it's still a big story, of course, this morning, and it was a night the Spurs fans have been waiting for a long, long time. So we already had a pretty good idea that the Spurs were going to pick Dylan at number 2.
All right, so Dylan Harper coming to San Antonio. Here's some things that you may not know about him. So Harper comes from an NBA background. He is the son of 5-time NBA champion Ron Harper, who played with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. And then Harper also played with Shaq and Kobe on those Lakers team. Harper's mother, her roots come from the Philippines, and she actually played college basketball also at the University of New Orleans. His grandmother competed in the 1968 Olympics, Ernie.
Wow.
In Hialeah. There you go.
Okay.
Hialeah, yes. And the 14th pick, the Spurs selected Arizona player. You see him right there, looking fly right there in that suit right there. That would be Carter Bryant. He has an inspiring story. He's the grandchild of deaf adults and also knows sign language. So we're going to have a lot more on these Spurs coming up in just a little bit.
It's our first ever highlight reference in the history of GMSA, perhaps.
There we go.
But, anyway, more Spurs in just a little bit. So some other headlines this morning. A marathon meeting that stretched into the early morning hours. The Judson ISD School Board unanimously approved significant financial cuts across the district. That's to tackle their budget deficit. Judson ISD is eliminating vacant positions, including a district social worker and academic coaches. They're also cutting 2 positions in communications. Athletics will see changes, too, with the elimination of a secretary position, and the golf and powerlifting programs are gone now due to low participation, despite recent success for Wagner and Veterans Memorial High School in powerlifting. The district is also cutting student athletic insurance and Letterman jackets. Additionally, pre-kindergarten for 3-year-olds has been removed. The potential savings from all these cuts is still unclear. The board will vote on the full 2025-26 budget this Thursday after a public hearing. All right, now an update this morning. 4 months since the TEA took over South San ISD and put in a new board and superintendent. The former superintendent, Henry Izaguirre, has formally resigned. He will get 1 year's payment of $280,000 as part of his severance payment. You can read the story on what led up to the TEA takeover at KSAT.com. Just search South San ISD.
One of our other top stories this Thursday morning. A warning before this next story, though. The video may be hard to watch. Unidentified migrant remains housed in a refrigerated trailer. This is a story that we told you about back in October and what Maverick County and the city of Eagle Pass resorted to try and identify the bodies of those who lost their lives on a journey to the United States. So this is what that trailer looked like back in October. It was full. But that is not the case anymore. Just a few weeks ago, Maverick County officials and a nonprofit finished IDing those remains, sending back to loved ones and giving others proper burials, leaving that trailer empty.
As of the point of clearing out the EOC morgue, we have not seen any report of any new migrant death that has been reported. I'm grateful, one, that we haven't seen the numbers to the level of where they once were, because any individual should never have to go through something as that.
Now, Maverick County Judge Ramsey Cantu explains with fewer border crossings, it allowed for nonprofits and officials to clear that trailer and get those who died to their families and their final resting places.
Hi, this morning we know a lot more about an apartment fire that we told you about Tuesday night. This was the scene at Barrington Street near Loop 410 and Starcrest. At one point, around 30 fire units were there at the La Silva apartments. Crews say it appears food left cooking on a stove in one of the units was likely what sparked the flames. We know at least one person jumped from a second-story balcony to avoid the fire. That person, along with 2 others, were taken to a hospital. All of them are expected to be okay. And while there are no severe injuries, the damage has been done. One of the residents there who was forced out by the fire says somebody stole from her in the midst of all that chaos.
Stuff that was in drawers in my dresser was on my bed. I don't understand why people do this. You're already going through a hard time. Why would you do it?
Well, many of the people who live there are now trying to figure out their next moves.
A man in jail and a woman on the run this morning after a teen girl was shot in Seguin. This all happening back on June 14th at the Seguin Manor Apartments. Now, police tell us the 15-year-old was shot in the arm. 20-year-old Javon Calvin was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Now, officers are looking for a woman named Juliana Medrano in connection with that shooting. If you know where she may be, you're asked to call the Seguin Police Department at that number that you see on your screen. Okay, scary moments for a Bexar County Sheriff's deputy who was involved in a car crash. This happened yesterday at City Base Road on Southeast Military Drive on the southeast side. So that's where apparently the deputy and another driver collided with each other. Now, no one was seriously hurt. We still don't know what exactly caused this crash.
Well, your morning headlines, President Trump is demanding Iran end its nuclear ambitions ahead of talks next week. He's crediting recent U.S. bunker buster strikes for swiftly ending the conflict between Israel and Tehran, claiming that they devastated Iran's nuclear program. This comes despite U.S. intelligence suggesting just limited damage. The White House is backing an Israeli assessment that the strikes delayed Iran's nuclear efforts for years.
All right, some weather news this morning. A violent storm in Largo, Florida, near Tampa, leaving some pretty bad damage out there. Check this out. Debris flew through the air as a reported tornado came through the area. Several homes were damaged, including one that was blown right off of its foundation. Despite the damage, no serious injuries were shockingly reported. Meanwhile, in Dallas, a 51-year-old postal worker, his death is being looked into as possibly heat-related. Jacob Taylor died on the job when temperatures were in the 90s. This is residents up and down the East Coast will finally see some relief today from the first big heat wave of the summer. All right, let's give you a look here at your traffic, kind of mixing some things up on you here. Taking a look here at 35 at Topperwine, northbound traffic, still seeing a pretty good amount of construction out there for our drivers on the northeast side of town. That's going to be one of our bigger delays that we're seeing at the moment. You see a bunch of flashing lights there off to the distance. for all of our travelers that are going northbound, again, past Topper Wine and also Judson Road. One quick look here at the north side of town, 1604 Stone Oak Parkway. Traffic is starting to clear out in this area. Earlier, we had all the main lanes of 1604 westbound that were closed right here by Blanco Road, but it looks like things are starting to move along here for the most part. One more shot here. This is going to be closer to the downtown area. 10 and Hackberry traffic is starting to clear out here after some overnight construction. All right, Alex Gomez on the roads for us on this Thursday morning. What's up, Alex? How we looking?
RJ, good morning and happy Friday, Junior. I'm on the west side starting the drive on 410 and 151. So far, no construction over here. If I see any delays across the city, I'll let you know where they're at, RJ.
All right, thank you very much for that update. Alex Gomez in Drive Cam for us. Justin, how are we looking?
Outside with live cam, 77 degrees, 510 this morning. We've got some dust that's headed our way, but will we be able to breathe easy? We'll take a look at the air quality forecast coming up.
All right, good news for Fortnite players. The FTC is starting to refund over $126 million for unwanted purchases. We'll tell you if you're eligible. Plus, Netflix saying goodbye to more than 20 games, including popular titles like Hades and Monument Valley. That's all coming up.
Okay, our NBA draft night coverage continuing this morning with a one-on-one with a man right there, Dylan Harper, the number 2 overall pick for our San Antonio Spurs. We're going to tell you what he had to say about coming to the Alamo.
Who doesn't love to save money? Now, if you're getting ready to buy for back to school, a new TV, or even some new appliances, early next month might be your best chance to save some bucks. Walmart's Deals event runs from July 8th to the 13th, and some of the deals include brand name crayons, smart monitors, advanced cordless vacuums, seasonal items that are available for pre-order like a Nutcracker and Gingerbread House, and even men's and women's watches. Now, you don't have to be a Walmart Plus subscriber to get the deals, but members get early access starting a day early on July 7th. The retailer says most deals will be available in stores and online for curbside pickup. You can find a full list of what you can save on KSAT.com. Ivan Herrera, KSAT 12 News.
All right, very good. Well, the future is shining brighter for the San Antonio Spurs. In the first draft of the Mitch Johnson era, the Spurs selected 6'6" lefty combo guard Dylan Harper after his completion of 1 season at Rutgers.
All right, Ernie, yes, the Spurs now add Dylan Harper to a loaded backcourt. He's the highest draft pick ever for the Rutgers Skylit Knights. What that was. Okay, sports director Larry Ramirez on one-on-one with Harper right after he was selected.
Just how far we've came.
You mention your mom a lot. Why?
Because, she's the foundation to everything. She's been here through thick and thin, from good times to bad times and everything. So just giving it all to her and just giving her the world.
Tell Spurs fans what they're getting in you as a player and as a young man in the community.
I think as a young man in the community, I think a great person, do everything in his power to put a smile on people's face and just always be happy no matter what. And then from a basketball standpoint, I think a winner is someone who wants to win and will do whatever the coach asks him to do to win. Just always be that one guy to kind of pick everyone up.
And last thing from me, tell us about your fit, man.
I got the Versace with the Chris Louboutin, all black with a little bit of nice little hit to it.
That's pretty sharp. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate
all right, let's send it back to you.
He's almost leveling up to Justin Horn with the Versace.
Oh, my. We'll find out who he's wearing in a little bit.
All right, here's a look at the Spurs young backcourt. Obviously, Dylan Harper joining all those players right there under contract. Steph Castle and De'Aaron Fox going to be kind of the main ones there. A lot of options for Mitch Johnson to plug into the lineup.
All right, so here's a look at how the dominoes fell on the draft board with picks 1 through 6. A big moment for Dallas, replenishing their roster with a star forward out of Duke, a Cooper Flag. No surprise there. At number 6, the Wizards selected former Texas Longhorn Trey Johnson.
Okay, switching gears a little bit here. June is Pride Month, and this morning, KSAT Promotions producer David Hurtado sitting down with some city leaders and influencers who are staying true to themselves. And no need for introduction right here. This is Mr. Fiesta right there. Michael Quintanilla sharing how his mother helped him get through a very difficult time in his early journalism career.
She pulled out this pillowcase, and inside the pillowcase were scraps of paper where I had written stories as a child. Oh. And she said, look, you've been writing ever since you were a little kid. And look at you now, you're doing this professionally. Writing is what you love, mijo. So, don't give up on this dream.
All right, good stuff there. To watch this full interview, you can go to KSAT.com and scan that QR code. Ernie, I know you've done a lot of stories with Michael in the past, right?
He's the best. He's Mr. Fiesta and so much more. So really happy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe he told me once that he started also, or I don't know if he started, but part of his journalism career was in El Paso.
I believe that's right.
And out in the West Coast as well.
Yeah, West Coast for sure.
Yeah, good stuff there. And make sure to check out that full interview on our website as we continue to celebrate Pride Month across the city of San Antonio. All right, 37 Fair Avenue traffic is looking pretty good out there. Again, no major accidents to let you know about. Do want to give you an update real quick on some construction that's taking place on the east side of town. We're going to kind of scroll through some of these shots right there. 10 at Hackberry, no major issues right there for our folks. So 35 Benz Engelman, we do have a frontage road that's actually closed. That's going to be connecting 410 to 35, and this is going to be a long-term closure for all of our drivers around the BAMC area. So we know we got a lot of folks that are waking up early with us this morning to head over to Brooke Army Medical Center. We appreciate you guys being with us on this Thursday morning. But again, this closure taking place here for the better parts of the next 7 months or so. Just kind of pay attention to some of those street signs and that signage out there. Let's go to my guy Justin Horn right now with the very latest out there. Justin, how are we looking on this Thursday morning?
Well, we're going to talk allergies, RJ, because, it affects all of us in some way or another. Molds are year-round, so we can, take those off the board. But as we're looking at the allergen calendar here, we are right in the thick now of Saharan dust season. Now, the thing about Saharan dust is it's not constant. We get bouts of it throughout the summer, but we're about to get our first kind of significant bout coming up here next week. And it is the next big thing. So as we look at how Saharan dust works here, as it gets picked up here in the Saharan desert, of course, hence the name. The trade winds carry this all the way across the Atlantic. And this happens every year. We deal with it every year. And that dust gets picked way up in the atmosphere, and it can travel thousands and thousands of miles, eventually making it here to Texas. And this is the forecast. It does show nice little plume working in early next week. Now, keep in mind that this is fairly elevated in the atmosphere, so it's not necessarily down at the surface where we are, but some of it can kind of trickle down, and this does affect air quality. And here's what I would tell you. Saturday, we're still going to be in good range. Moderate, which is this yellow color here, is typically where we stay. Very rarely do we have good air quality, but moderate, which is, very breathable, fine, no big deal. As we get into Sunday and Monday, we up that to unhealthy for some. The majority of us won't be affected, but there are a few who have maybe asthma issues or allergy issues that the Saharan dust can kind of cause to flare up. So we just want to make sure you're aware of that. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, watch out for the haze. Of course, the other thing to that is you'll see some beautiful sunrises and sunsets because the dust in the atmosphere just allows for a greater spectrum of colors around that time. So that's the other thing you'll notice. 77 degrees at the airport, 75 right now in New Braunfels, 75 Converse. Feels very humid out there. And the futurecast for today, of course, we've had those storms that have developed along the coast and then made a run at San Antonio during the evening hours. We may see that again today. I just don't think the coverage is going to be as great. This is around 5 o'clock. The best odds will be for our friends down in Pleasanton, Floresville, over towards Howattsville here in San Antonio. Just a 20% chance of rain. And we'll see temperatures right around 93 for a high today. 94 tomorrow, 94 Saturday. I think over the weekend there's a small chance for some of these showers too. And then the big story will become those hazy skies next week. And by the way, temperatures climb. We'll talk more about that next half hour. But as we get towards July 4th, it looks like it will be rather hot. Okay, our Just Ask Justin question this morning. I was kind of thinking about the company from France yesterday, sponsoring the Spurs. So I was thinking about languages. And so my question is, English is the most spoken language in the world if you look at native and non-native speakers. But what is the second most spoken language in the world? Is it French, Spanish, Chinese Mandarin, or Hindi? You can vote. KSAT.com/poll. Scan the QR code. We'll reveal that answer here in about an hour and a half.
That's a good one.
That is another.
Think about it.
Another good one.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, sir. It is 5:22, 77 degrees outside.
Okay, unwanted Fortnite charges. You could get some money back, plus why Netflix is pulling the plug on some fan favorite games. That's coming up next.
In today's Tech Bites, Fortnite gamers getting some money back. Those who were charged for unwanted purchases and made a claim should be receiving a refund from the FTC this week as part of a $126 million settlement. Players can still file a claim online until July 9th. Next, another step away from video games by Netflix. It is removing 20 games from its service next month. Some of those include popular titles like Hades and Monument Valley. Netflix reportedly plans to focus on games that are tied to its popular shows. The AI company Anthropic is adding a new feature to its Claude chatbot that lets users build their own apps. All you have to do is describe what you want to create, and Claude will write the code and then give you a link to share the app with other users. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great Thursday.
Okay, 5:26 right now, 77 degrees outside.
All right, family and friends, remember 19-year-old Jordan Bocanegra after a tragic shooting. What's next for the suspect accused in this case?
Coming up on 5:30 on this Thursday morning, we got the fellas in the building for you guys on Good Morning San Antonio.
The three amigos, I think,
yeah.
as we said it last time. We were the three of us here together, so.
Patty's like, what about me, though?
Yeah,
No,
we got Patty standing.
Patty.
She's waiting in the wings.
She'll be here in just a minute.
Add some flavor to this newscast here.
Yes, indeed. And, the rain kind of avoided us yesterday. A few of us got some. We're starting to see those rain chances come down, unfortunately. Hey, sunrise this morning is going to be at 6:36. Sunset is at 8:38. We're still enjoying our nice long days here. We're still getting about 14 hours of daylight. So that sun will be up here in about an hour. So if you want to go out for the morning run, do it now before the sun comes up because it is going to warm our temperatures up quickly. We have a 20% chance of rain this afternoon. A pop-up downpour, I'd say, between 2 and 7. Same story we've heard last few days. It's just rain chances, as I said, are starting to come down. 93 will be our high temperature. Heat index values up near 100. As we get into next week, please know that temperatures will get even hotter. We're going to move into definitely a more of a summer-like pattern for us where we start to see the upper 90s. This line up here, that's your heat index. So this is the feels like number. The average is 94. So we're going to start to trend above average going towards July 4th. And we're going to look a little closer at that holiday forecast for you coming up in just a couple minutes. Guys.
All right, thank you very much, Justin. One of our top stories this half hour, balloons filling the sky last night. You see them right here as family and friends gather to remember a 19-year-old that was shot and killed on East Commerce Street this past weekend. Hours before this vigil, the medical examiner confirmed that that young man was identified as Jordan Bocanegra. His family says that he was heading home to Hondo when he was shot at the gas station Sunday morning. We spoke to his mother on Monday night as she helped build that memorial at the corner of Polaris and East Commerce. Last night, about 100 people shared photos and prayed, grieving together as a community.
A parent should never have to go through this, losing a kid before their own lives. He's just an innocent soul. It just hurts. It hurts a lot.
Now, San Antonio police arrested the man accused of killing Jordan. You see a photo of him right there. His name is Mark Criollo. This morning, he is still in jail facing a murder charge.
Well, questions remain this morning after a man's body was found along the highway. The grim discovery was made just before noon yesterday in a grassy area on I-10 near Console Drive on the northwest side of town. San Antonio police say the man's body had some bruises, but they're not sure how he died. So far, we don't know the man's name, but officers say he's about 45 years old.
Hey there, good morning. Well, we have an update to a Know My Neighborhood story. The City of San Antonio Public Works Department says they are no longer considering the displacement of 150 families in the Thompson community. The Concepcion Creek drainage plan drew a lot of pushback. In August, City Council is expected to approve a $1.38 million federal grant. The money will be used to hire a new design firm and do public outreach on the new plan. District 5 Councilwoman Terry Castillo created a stakeholders committee to help with the drainage design plan. The group is made up of District 5 business owners and homeowners. Thompson community residents say no one that actually lives in their community is part of that group.
It's disturbing that, they won't include us with those stakeholders. So how are we to know what's going on with that behind the doors meeting when we're not involved? We're directly impacted, and so we should be involved. I mean, at least one of us, to come back and tell our community what's going on in those meetings.
Okay, so the Public Works Department says community meetings will be held and will be scheduled for later this year. Since Monday, I've reached out to Castillo's office for answers on how the stakeholders were selected and how the project is moving forward, but we have not heard back.
All right, so take a look at this here. Raised garden beds, wide paths, and vegetables within arm's reach. But this is not just any garden. It's an accessible garden for people with disabilities and veterans. The group Gardening for Everybody was recently created here in San Antonio. Their mission is simple: create spaces where people with all abilities can belong. And after weeks of classes and hours of building, they've now finished their first accessible garden. So what does an accessible garden actually mean? Well, there's a lot of shade, extra room to move, and raised gardening beds. As one co-creator says, what started as a project between two friends has quickly grown.
As people with disabilities, all the bending and kneeling involved in traditional gardening can sometimes take the joy out of something that's meant to be so joyous.
Well, now they're looking to build their next garden. They are collecting donations and talking to nonprofits to keep this effort moving.
Taking a look at some of your morning headlines, the U.S. military expected to announce 2 new military zones along the southern border this week, and one is right here in Military City, USA. That's according to 3 U.S. officials. The zones are called National Defense Areas. One will be attached to Joint Base San Antonio to include roughly 250 miles of the Rio Grande River. The other zone will be attached to Marine Corps Air Station Yuma in Arizona. That will extend more than 100 miles along the border. The zones are considered extensions of military installations. This will allow troops to temporarily detain migrants there before handing them off to law enforcement. 2 other national defense areas were attached to Fort Bliss in the El Paso area and Fort Huachuca in Arizona this past spring.
Prosecutors in the Sean Diddy Combs case are no longer pursuing attempted arson and kidnapping charges. Closing arguments, kidnapping theories. Closing arguments in the New York trial are set to begin today. Those 2 alleged acts were part of the government's racketeering conspiracy charge, which is count 1 in the indictment against Combs. The indictment alleges that he engaged in a racketeering conspiracy that includes transportation for purposes of prostitution, witness tampering, bribery, forced labor, and drug-related offenses. To find Combs guilty, the jury would need to be unanimous on at least 2 of those acts.
Okay, story this morning is getting a lot of headlines across not only sports, but national headlines as well. The baseball world rallying around Arizona Diamondbacks star Ketel Marte, who was brought to tears by a fan taunting him about his dead mother during a game. The fan was ejected, and the incident is sparking some new calls for leagues to better police fan behavior. And this is not just in baseball, though. Recently, we had Olympic gold medalist Gabby Thomas, who's facing racial taunts at a track meet. Now, many pro athletes say the rise of sports betting is leading to more fan threats against players and their families. Okay, yes, not sure if you guys saw that story. He actually, I think, it was during the middle of a game. He kind of crouched down in the moments right there. So I believe that fan has been banned from not only that ballpark there, but the rest of the ballparks across the country as well. So very interesting story there. We'll continue to follow the very latest. All right, traffic situation across the city right now. I'm going to get you back on the rotator. This is 35 Wiener Road because we're dealing with some construction out here on the northeast side of town. But for the most part, everything else across the city is looking pretty good. 410 at Fredericksburg, no major issues there for our drivers. One quick look here at 1604 Stone Oak Parkway. We are good to go there. And another shot here at the closer to the downtown area. This is going to be 10 at Hackberry for all of our folks making their way on the eastbound lanes of 10. Again, no major issues south of the downtown area, and we're going to continue to follow the very latest in traffic. Alex Gomez is going to be on the roads and give us an update coming up in just a little bit. Justin.
All right, well, get ready, ghouls and goblins. Spirit Halloween is gearing up for the spooky season and looking to hire 50,000 seasonal employees. How you can join in on that fun coming up next.
And our NBA draft coverage continues with the 14th pick. The San Antonio Spurs welcoming my guy right here, Carter Bryant. We're going to hear from this versatile forward and what he's bringing to the Alamo City. And again, check out.
Is he bringing a shirt?
There.
Is he going to bring an undershirt?
I hope he brings a shirt. Maybe he's ready for the 90-degree heat, as I'm guessing.
We'll be back.
All right, not only are rain chances starting to go down, but we're starting to see heat return to the forecast. We're going to get some pretty warm temperatures as we get into next week. In fact, we could be near 100 degrees. We're going to show you the forecast for next week coming up.
My In Your Consumer headlines this morning. Spirit Halloween is seeking to conjure up some help for the upcoming spooky season. It'll be here before you know it. The pop-up retailer has announced plans to open up more than 1,500 locations this year. And so it says it will need 50,000 seasonal employees to staff those stores, which usually open in August. Spirit Halloween says its employees get perks, including 30% off of in-store product. Nestle says it will eliminate synthetic food dyes from its U.S. food and beverage products by the middle of next year. Artificial ingredients have been under scrutiny from Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s Department of Health and Human Services. Kraft Heinz and General Mills recently detailed plans to remove all artificial colors from their products sold in the U.S. Nestle said that less than 10% of its U.S. food and beverage portfolio currently contains synthetic colors. It expects to have those fully removed over the next 12 months.
Man, we're already talking about spirit stores? Oh, man. All right. Yes, continuing our recap here of the NBA draft after the Spurs obviously took Dylan Harper at number 2. The franchise went ahead and took their pick at 14. They added a solid wing here. The Spurs were pretty high on Carter Bryant. You see him right there out of Arizona. He's 6'7". He's a wing guard player capable of guarding up to 4 positions. And that's how GM Brian Wright sees it. Bryant goes way back, though, also with his fellow draft mate, Dylan Harper.
I'm looking forward to playing with my guy, D. Harp. I mean, it's been a long time coming. We had a lot of conversations throughout high school, whether I was trying to play together in college, just maybe playing together at some point. So for him to be my draft buddy and being able to both go in the lottery and be able to represent San Antonio is dope. Dylan and I actually met playing AU tournament. We played the New York Rens, and I'll never forget, he was killing us. And I mean, I was the biggest dude on our team, so Coach had me guarding the 5-man. I was like, Coach, like, I promise you I can stop him. And I remember he came and walked over the bench, and he was like, I promise you, you can't stop me.
All right, let's get it going. I love that. Okay, here's a look at how the dominoes fell in the first 6 picks. Of course, we got Dallas taking Cooper Flagg. They get a replenished roster there with their new star forward out of Duke. And at number 6, the Wizards taking former UT Longhorn Trey Johnson. What's up, guys?
Okay.
D. Harp, huh?
I like it.
E. Zuniga, Jay Horn.
I'm excited about we have young talent. Now it's just a matter of getting everyone to meld and
healthy Wemby and
yeah,
new coach.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I guess we're back to traffic now.
Yes, we are.
All right, let's give you an update here in our rotating traffic shots here at Gold Canyon. Traffic looking good out there for our folks on the north side of town. 1604 Marbach, far west side, no major issues for all of our folks out there. 281 at the quarry. There was some overnight construction over by Henderson Pass earlier, but we have since cleared that out. All right, biggest thing we're following at the moment is going to be on 35 North. This is going to be past San Marcos, just past 90 on 35. You see some flashing lights there off to the distance. Still trying to get a little bit more information on what exactly is going on there. It looks like we also might have some type of high-profile truck right here off to the back behind that emergency vehicle. So again, still trying to gather a little bit more information on what we have going on. That's going to be south of downtown over by 90 and 35. Hey, this is a sight for sore eyes, the northeast side of town, 35 at Topperwine Road. Traffic is looking much better after some pretty good delays overnight, some construction related delays. So let's go to Alex Gomez right now in Drive Cam for us on this Thursday morning and see how things are looking on the streets. Alex, what's up?
Yeah, good morning, RJ. You're right. The northeast side definitely catching a break today. This is exactly where I'm at right now. This is 35 southbound near Schertz Parkway. And both sides of I-35 looking very nice this morning. All open roads, no construction. And there's no construction even on the west side near 410, 151, even near 281 in Henderson Pass. Those are the spots I was at earlier this morning. And most of the city is looking very nice, RJ.
All right, good to see that, Alex, as we get one day closer to the weekend. How are we looking out there this morning, Justin?
We've got mostly cloudy skies. We're starting out just like we have last couple of mornings. So let's look at the headlines here, the main takeaways, and that is rain. We're going to see less coverage of rain through the weekend. So I know we've had a couple days here where some showers made a run at San Antonio. And we'll still probably see a few of those today, but the overall rain chance is starting to decrease. Saharan dust is going to be another big topic of conversation going forward. We're going to have a noticeable haze in the sky next week. And the 4th of July. Triple digits may return to the forecast, or at least we're going to get close. Next week is looking pretty hot. Here's the upper level flow. So our heat high, which has been over the northeast and bringing heat up there, kind of shifts a little bit. Now I'll tell you, it drifts around and never gets all that strong. So this is not one of those death ridges, so to speak, but it will be near us, and that will keep things pretty warm next week. Again, maybe some upper 90s in the forecast. Here's what we're thinking. This is Monday, 95, and then just sort of a steady climb once we get into the 4th of July. And the heat index values will climb too, obviously, so we may see our feels like numbers jump over 102, or at least jump over 100 by the end of next week. Something to watch. We're not going to get all that hot next few days, but next week certainly will be. And 4th of July, right now we're thinking 99 for a high here in San Antonio, but there will be some triple digits across the state. It'll be a pretty hot holiday. And of course, the concerns with fireworks are still there, but because we've seen more rain, it's a little better situation than we have been in years past. Outside right now, mostly cloudy, 77 degrees, 75 in New Braunfels, 76 for our friends down on the south side there around Stinson. And our futurecast shows that, yes, we'll see some more of those showers start together along the coast and then work their way towards San Antonio later this afternoon and this evening. This is 5 o'clock. A couple spotty showers. Again, I think the coverage is just a little bit less today, and certainly by tomorrow we'll see far less. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow, and notice there's not much there. Other than maybe a stray shower. So our forecast today, 83 at 11 o'clock, noontime 86, 93, your high temperature with a 20% chance of rain. And do know that Saharan dust, yes, increases next week, especially by Tuesday and Wednesday. Extended forecast. Because of that, we're going to put haze in there starting Sunday through Wednesday. Not, it's not going to be just horrible, but you'll notice just a little bit of a haze to the sky and some great sunrises and sunsets. Okay, our question this morning for you. By number of speakers, English is the most common language in the world by native and non-native speakers. What is the second most spoken language in the world? Is it French, Spanish, Chinese Mandarin, or Hindi? We've got votes for all of them right now. Spanish leading the way. You can go to ksat.com/polls, scan the QR code. We'll get you that answer here in about an hour.
Very good.
And this is how you know that Justin is stumping some people out there. When the answers are kind of varied. Yeah.
That's right.
It's a tricky one.
Add me to the list of those who are stumped right now. 551, 77 degrees outside right now.
Okay, stay with us. You really want to take this little guy home. We're going to show you a cat that we're going to feature here in just a little bit. Oh, there he is with our very own Stephanie Certain. Or is that a dog? A cat or a dog? We're going to introduce you to a little four-legged friend coming up in just.
Hey, thanks for joining us here this morning.
Thank you so much for having us.
So this is a sibling, right?
Yes. So we just met their sister, Leilani.
Yes.
And obviously two totally different looking pets. I mean, you would not believe they were from the same
I did not know that. Yeah, and I got lots of kisses this morning. Oh my goodness, she's so sweet.
Yes,
so
and
sweet.
it just kind of shows you that all pets are a little bit different. I mean, even their temperaments. Leilani was ready to snooze. This one is very curious, wanting to give lots of love. So always have the right pet for the right people. Just got to come visit us.
Just like the microphone too. You can hear that. Well, tell us a little bit also what's going on as far as spaying and neutering. I understand y'all have some programs coming up.
Absolutely. So of course we're all about making sure that all of our pets are taken care of, and one of the great ways to ensure their safety and health is through spaying and neutering. Of course, all of our pets at ADL are always ready to go. They've been vaccinated, they've got their microchip, they've been spayed or neutered, and if you own a cat and haven't received that service yet, we do offer very affordable spay and neuter services at ADL twice a week throughout the month. So you can always visit us, adltexas.org/spay-neuter, to book your appointment and get that taken care of.
Very good. And so we wanted to talk about cats. I know I'm holding beautiful Rosetta here, but you guys, I guess there's a need for spay and neuter for the cats.
Yes, absolutely, because we know that cats are able to produce some pretty big litters and pretty frequently. And there's a lot of myths. People think they need to have had a couple of litters, have had a couple of heat cycles. That is a total myth. They are able to weigh from as early as 2 months up to 8 years. They just have to weigh at least 2 pounds. You can bring them in, and again, make sure that they are safe.
Thank you, Stephanie Cerner.
Absolutely.
All right, 5:56, 77 degrees outside. A terrifying accident at a beach. A lifeguard impaled by a beach umbrella. How it happened, and an update on that lifeguard's condition coming up.
That is frightening stuff there. Okay, the San Antonio Spurs making some big moves in the NBA draft. They took Dylan Harper. Of course, that was projected to be their number 2 pick, but then they added this guy right here, Carter Bryant. We're going to hear from both the newest San Antonio Spurs coming up just a little bit. And taking a quick look at Drive Cam with Alex Gomez on the roads. Things looking pretty good on the streets right now. One incident south of downtown, and of course still dealing with some overnight construction. We will check in with Alex coming up on this next hour of Good Morning San Antonio. Thank you very much for being with us.